Welcome to Brothers and Booze with my esteemed colleague. You're
Am
my
I on that
esteemed
side for you?
colleague.
Which side am
And
I on for you? Like you're pointing that way, but on my screen I'm that. I don't know. What's up, y'all? It's
hey, how
Casey
you doing,
Palmer
Casey?
from Canada. I'm good. How are you doing?
Hello. Great. And this is our first time co-hosting together, so cheers to that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
cheers to Doug.
so wait, you pre-opened your beer? Is that what happened here? Man, you're
Yeah.
on the ball.
Well, actually, truth be told, I opened up the beer that I really wanted to start with, and it wasn't good.
Ooh.
We'll leave that nameless.
Let's spare their feelings.
It was one of those times though where I was like, "Oh, I just want to have a beer a little bit before and drink it."
Yeah.
I was like, and our guest saw my face, and he was like, and I was like, "Oh, no." So
Well,
this is one of my favorite breweries, Third Space out of Milwaukee, Upward Spiral Pale Ale. So what I'm
very
going to
nice.
do, this is the first one to show. I'm just going to drink one beer all show, and it's going to be this one. So it better be good, y'all.
And now it's like anticipation. Is like, is it gonna make it? Is it gonna be good enough?
Well, our guest, if you've seen the promos, you know who he is. But our guest has brought a couple beers on, and he wants to talk about them. So I'm just going to have one and open the door for all you guys.
That is very conscientious of you, sir. Well done.
So I just want to talk about a little bit.
Yo, bring it on. Let's go.
A little bit. We started this show as a beer show, and it's still going to be a beer show. But Doug and I and you have talked about making it more of a variety show where we bring in different people and we bring in different people to drink and they can drink whatever they want. And that's always kind of been the case. But we're going to be really, really more going forward, especially in 21. Trying to just showcase different people, see what the hell's going on. We're still going to have our beer people. We still love our beer people.
Our beer people are amazing.
Always going to be a beer guy. But yeah, so I just wanted to let everybody know that's kind of, because everybody's like, "Oh, you're a beer show, so you just have beer people." And I was like, "Oh, we got it going on.
There's other things going on. We're multi-dimensional individuals."
Right. That's what he said over there.
Yeah.
What are we? I know you're excited about your first beer, and then we'll get to our guests. But
yes.
What you got?
Okay, so beer is not always the easiest to come by in a pandemic situation. You kind of stick with what you know, get it delivered to your door. A friend of mine actually dropped off some beer for me the other day, and he was just kind of like, "I want you to try this." And what it is from People's Pint Toronto, is one of the only Canadian breweries that are doing the Black is Beautiful movement. And so this is a Imperial Stout with salted caramel, lactose, mango, and habanero peppers. You put habanero peppers in a beer, I want to drink it. So we're going to see how this is.
Salted caramel. I'm all in on that.
Yeah, look at that. There you go. There you go.
Good evening, HG. Cheers.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Or
you know what? I have to say, this show has helped me meet so many cool people. You have a lot of good friends and peers in the groups that you have. So shout out to all y'all. All right, let's try this out.
Oh, damn. When that Black is Beautiful.
You know what? I'm not a stout guy. Usually I'm a sour guy, as we know. But this is delicious. It's just like, it has the salty and the sweetness come together really well. And it just, what? Lactose? Ew, stop. No, this is great. Trust me. For someone who doesn't like stouts, this is great. I'm going to take another sip and then going to introduce our guests.
Okay. So real quick though, are the peppers, is it spicy or
the kick hasn't come in yet? Like on the second sip, I started to feel it a little where it's just kind of like, oh hey, hold on, here we go. Remember, so it reminds me of the passion of the spice I had with the Carolina Reapers back when, and it's kind of like I took like several sips of it until I got to the point where it's like, oh, there it is. So this is gonna be one of those. Like I still have a good glass left, and there's a lot of pepper hiding in there. It's gonna find me. Is
the caramel making it too sweet, or where is it at?
No. It's a comfortable sweetness. It's like a nice, smooth, almost velvety sweetness that hits the tongue. So you can taste the caramel really strongly, but it offsets the other things. All the other ingredients in there are offset really well. I'd get this again, 100%. It's especially as we're going into winter, and we hate winter, but stouts are great for winter. So, if you're looking for a good beer for the winter, support a cause that matters. and People's Pint Toronto. If you're up in Canada, I'm gonna make sure you guys hear about this because it's really good beer. So,
well, we're not going to be up there soon because your PM just came out and said some crazy. Well, not crazy, but smart shit. Right. Until you all get your shit together, you can't come here. That's what it basically.
No, that was his. Yeah. That was his.
He says it with that sexy accent, and he just delivers it, and it's just like I could never be as eloquent as he. Like he's just too much. But anyway, so I had to break it down and translate it in American.
Our friends, to our friends south of the border, we commiserate with you, and we wish the best for you. But please stay the hell home until we get your guys' stuff sorted out, because we're doing all right up here for the most part. Thanks. Yeah.
Right, and then the American version is you motherfuckers need to stay where you're at until you get better. so that's where we're at in the world. This is the truth.
It's like translation here.
Right. This is the way it is. Let's just move on.
It's like we don't even have a guest today. It's like, no, let's not even bother. Like, let's just do this. You and me for the next hour.
Yes, he embarrassed to even come on now.
It's like, what did I sign up for? Oh my gosh. All right, let's talk about this dude. It's funny. It's a funny story how he and I met, because we actually didn't meet until we were at the airport leaving Dad 2 2018. So we didn't talk all conference, and then at the actual airport on the way out, I'm like, hey, aren't you? He's like, aren't you? And then we chatted for a couple of years and actually got to hang proper when it was Dad 2 2020 in DC. And he's a good guy. He brought me some beers from a little place called Cincinnati, or the Cincinnati area, maybe. He can clarify. But he brought me some beers when at Dad 2. They were delicious, and he knew I like sours, so they were sour. So everything worked out really well. We got to walk along the mall in DC, and I got to see all of your oversized monuments to American history. They are really, really big. If you've never been to DC, guys, they're really big. Go check it out.
They're really close too. I always had the picture. Yeah, I always had the picture at Washington's like sprawling over like 1 acre.
It's like, and all these big things are here.
Right.
It's like you thought Vegas was crammed. No, go to DC. It's like
right.
Anyway,
the way they make it look on TV though is like, you know what I mean?
You guys are really good with your camera work.
Right. What it is, man. Everything's for sure.
Without further ado, we should introduce the Homedadcon, Brock Lusch, the man, legend. What's up?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
What's in the glass? Let's just.
Ooh, I had to.
Let's talk beer.
Ooh, yeah. So, it was fun seeing that you're going to go with one beer all night long, because I think that's got to be something that gets marked on a calendar for you. Yeah, and then you got that big old mug. I mean, gee whiz, dude, that's a big mug.
I try.
At first, I thought it was like a big jug of like A&W root beer or something there, because it just kind of looks like.
I do have an A&W mug upstairs. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
But so that's the thing. I wanted to come bringing the Cincinnati flavor, and I picked a few different ones. I had to go I went to this bottle shop, and it was hard. And I just kind of painted the brush all over the place. So what I've picked tonight to start out with, though, is one of my favorite beers that comes out this time of year. This is Mad Tree, their Coffee Blonde. This is a delicious sweet beer. So this comes in at 4.7, and we'll just crack this thing open. And
you ever see a Coffee Blonde there, Casey?
No, I don't. I don't do coffee, but if he told me to try it, I try it. Right. I also wonder, because you said 4.7. I feel like American beers come in lower than Canadian beers, because this one's like a 10.
So this one, it's got lactose in it, which gives it that nice sweetness.
I got a comment for you.
What do you comment on? My pour?
No. Wait. On me. On my BS.
Oh, okay. So it's got a real nice color to it. It smells amazing, and the whoa, I can't even hit that. So the coffee is a Guatemalan farm. Basically, this comes from a coffee shop here in town called Deeper Roots, and they make amazing coffee. So we'll give this thing a drink. Yeah, that's good, man. Just real light on the beans, lots of flavor, and I mean, it's just what I want. Like, to me, it is like the closest thing I think you can get to like a cold brew version of a beer, like cold brew coffee beer is what it feels like to me. So it's good.
Sounds delicious.
So, Casey, you made a comment before about you feel that I just want you to explain it, and then I think I have it. You feel that the ABVs on American beers come in lower than Canadian ones?
From what I've seen, yes, but my experience is limited, so maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. I'm not going to dispute whether you're right or wrong because I don't have that anecdotal evidence. But what I will say is that I believe that the American craft beer industry started up high and is coming back. Meaning there used to be big ass beers like 3 or 4 years ago. It was like, let's get big. Let's make it so big that Brock can drink one and pass out, and he'll think it's normal beer. You know what I mean? Like, so they used to like. I think they've come down now generally, and now they want to make more like approachable like session beers. And I also think that like the seltzer thing is affecting this because people want the reason they go for seltzers because they're low calorie. Low ABV, they can have 6 of them in a setting and be social. I think craft beer people are like, oh, we need to at least give more of those offerings of those low, ABVs.
White Claw.
Right. White Claw.
Yeah. Also, you know what? Canada's 4 or 5 years behind the US generally anyway, so that might be part of it too. I'm not. It's how it goes, honestly, with almost everything. Whether it's social media, whether it's drinks, whether it's restaurant trends, we're always like 4 to 5 years behind and trying to figure ourselves out afterwards. So that could just be part of it.
Right.
Yeah, Canada.
True. So I got a comment here. We're gonna have to decipher this because we know the guy. So we all know and love Vernon Gibbs.
No, I saw that comment and I was like, Vernon, stop.
2 of my favorite people, and Keith. So what? I'm trying to. All right. We'll let Vernon explain that one.
Does it maybe mean like 2 of his favorite like stay-at-home dad friends and Casey?
Oh no, I know what he meant.
Right.
No deciphering for me.
Casey started with a peppers beer. Do you do any of those peppers?
I haven't had too many, but the way he described that one, that sounds really good. I haven't had too many of those though yet. No.
Like I said, I'm not a stout guy, but this stout is a good one. I have to give a shout out to my buddy Trevor for dropping it on my doorstep because this one is great.
Actually, I'll take it in a stout before I probably take it in a lager. I did have one at Brink Brewing, and Brink Brewing, by the way, has like been voted. I think it got from like a Great American Beer Festival. It was gold medal for best small brewery in the country or something like that, like 2 years in a row. And they came out with a beer that had some kind of pepper in it, like a ghost pepper or something. I took one sip of that. It lit my throat on fire. I couldn't drink it. I couldn't take another drink of it. Mm-hmm. But it tasted good.
Yeah, there needs to be a balance for sure, though.
Yeah. For
sure. So, Brock, what's going on with Cincinnati, man? You are so from and relative to me, of course, you are a newer craft beer drinker.
Yes.
So within the past, I would say 3 years. I've known you for about 3 or 4. So I think that as long as I've known you, you probably started really soon after, or you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, I was getting into it when we met 3 years ago. I was just getting into it because you were the one that was trying to be like, you should drink sours, and I was like, no, I should not drink sours. And then we went on a beer tour in Orlando, and you introduced me to tarts, and eventually stepped me right into a sour within like a couple of hours, and I was like, this is really tasty. And now here I am buying one of the best brewery in town's sours. This is one of their tart ales, but they make some amazing sours too. Urban Artifact.
Right. Yes. That's one thing you don't say around me is I don't like filling the style of beer because I take it as a challenge.
Yep.
So and I'm like, the next time we hang out together, we go. I want to introduce you to some different one. So that's I love that story. That's excellent.
Well, and that plays off of. I mean, I learned that from you. Hashtag pucker up.
Pucker
Love it.
Right.
But I learned that from you, and then I took that into when I was working as a tour guide for Cincy Brew Bus, and I'd get people that I would take on tours. Oh, I don't want to try that. I don't think I'd like that. And I'm like, let's take a sip. Just try it. Like, why not? You're paying to go on this tour. And it was amazing. After like a couple sips, they were like, oh, that I didn't expect that. I like that. Oh, I'm really glad that you like pushed me to try it. I'm like, exactly.
Right. So you stole my thunder, Casey. I'll let you get in here, I promise. But you stole my thunder, Brock, because I was trying to set you up to talk about the job that you actually took, which is an intriguing job for me. Which is so how did you get into that?
Yeah.
Once again, what is the exact what's it called? Cincy
Brew Bus. So it's a tour company here in town in Cincinnati. A guy by the name of Mike Stokes started it up I think like 6 years ago. And I run the Cincinnati Dads group here in town. We've got like 400 guys on a closed Facebook page that I started just like 3 years ago. And one of the guys in there was a tour guide for him. And they just happened to be looking for drivers and tour guides. And I was like, well, I love to talk and I can drive a big bus and I love the beer here in Cincinnati. So why not? And I got a hold of them and they hired me and I started taking these tours around and it was a blast. I did it for a while almost up until the pandemic hit. So it was just neat to go to different breweries. You got to take people on tours. Like what was really neat is you walked into these breweries and the staff, they were super excited to have you there. You didn't really have to do too much to get in the back and show around. You're like, hey, is it cool if I go back? All right, cool. You take the whole crew back there with you, your whole tour team, and you'd show them around and give them like a run through of how beer is made, a little bit of history about that brewery specifically, and then they'd have some different tastings and you take on and go to the next one. And yeah, I loved pushing the people that we had on the tours to try new things. I'd always kind of see like what they wanted. The funnest people were the ones who were like, I just drink Miller Lite, Coors Light all the time. And I'm like, all right, well, I was like, this is going to be a challenge for you, but you'll be okay.
You know what? I hit up Cincy. When was I in Cincy? 5 years ago. So 2015. I don't remember a lot about it other than like, I hit up, there's a restaurant on the water, like on a boat or something, or overlooking the water. And they fed us a lot of good food. And I remember that. And we drove around a bus around town. And
was it a barbecue place?
It was a barbecue place.
I bet it was Montgomery Inn.
It was Montgomery Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. My memories always have to do with food and beer. Just like that was some good food.
Not a bad place. Not a bad place to go check out. Yeah, no, I mean that's the nice part about Cincinnati, man. There's a lot here. I say it jokingly, but there's a lot of seriousness to it in the fact of Cincinnati can feel a lot like a big city, even as small as it is. It's only like 300,000 for like the entire county.
Really?
It is, yeah, it's small. But the food, the different drinks. I mean, there are in this area. You can go to distilleries, you can go to wineries, and you can go to breweries, like all in the area. And a lot of them have been here for a very long time. Some of them have been here for a shorter period of time, but man, they are knocking it out. So it's been really cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
So let's see here. Vernon's gonna go pick up some sours tomorrow.
We're converting people over,
but he's gonna try. My favorite is COVID. Fuck COVID. But my favorite way to do it is to go and get flights, because then you're not locked into some beer that you don't like.
But
it's true.
So speaking of flights, during this time, have you had trouble getting flights? Have you gone to a brewery and tried to get a flight? Because I have.
He hasn't gone to any breweries.
Oh, no. Okay. I've gone to a couple different breweries and tried to get flights, and they're like, we aren't doing flights during this time. And I'm just like, oh, you're killing me. I got to pick one of your beers right now. One beer, this is not going to go well.
I've been experimenting with full beers, and I'm not ashamed to say that there are a few places and a few things I've gotten that was one sip, and I'm like, I can't. I just can't. Yeah. Well, there's places where it's like, if you know, I don't know if this is maybe like breaking a cardinal rule of buying beer, but like when you buy beer from a place that has no business making beer, you're really rolling dice. Like it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this is our family brew here in this random place off the side road, and you're like, oh yeah, let's try one. And I'm like,
right,
that was a bad call. But sometimes you're pleasantly surprised.
So Vernon, if you can do the mix 6, you get 1 each, and then you know what I'm saying. Then if he likes it, he can go back for the 6-pack. If he doesn't, he can pour it out like I did that first beer on this show that you guys didn't see. But that shit needed to be poured out. It was horrible. I'm not. It was bad.
Wait, do you think it was a canning issue, or do you think it was a recipe issue, or was it a dated issue?
It was the place that I got it from. It's not a recipe issue, so it was either in the canning of it or something. But it's not. These people know how to do their recipes. They are great. You know what I mean? I was actually shocked. So, but it's good because Casey, I was telling us, you'll do a bunch of these, and you'll get to a point to where you will have a beer, and it is horrible, and you have to decide on live stream whether you're going to call it out as horrible or you're just going to put that shit off to the side and move on with your life.
I think y'all know me well enough to know which one I do.
Well, if you're in the beer industry like me and you're friends with some of these brewers, and then you don't want to just be, being all rude to them, kind of like the one I had earlier today. So yeah. Anyway, back to this. Liquor store near me puts actually a handful of beers for sale individually. Yes. I love that, and I will pay more for a single. You know what I mean? Like to be able to have a single. So I'll pay like $3 or $4 for a single. Hell, if I went to a bar, that would be what, $4 or $5? Oh yeah. So or brewery, it would be $4 or $5. Yeah. So I'm down with that, Vernon. But I'm just saying that to Vernon because again, when you're stepping out, and he said he didn't like sours, so I don't want him to dive in too deep. How about that?
Hit a tart ale. I think that a tart ale
or I'm sorry, what did you say, bro?
I said either hit a tart ale or a goza and then jump into a stout. I think if you kind of walk those steps, like a 3-step program, tart ale, goza, like sour, then your palate will be more ready for hitting that sour note.
I don't even differentiate. I don't even know how to differentiate those in my head. It's so bad. I'm just kind of like, I've had them all. I'm like, how would I split those up? I guess tart is.
You don't have to because you like them all. So fuck it.
Yeah, right. Like tart is like fruity, and then goza is kind of like
we're talking about
there, and sour is like pucker up.
Yeah. We're trying to work on people who we're trying to ease them in. You're already there, man. So we don't even.
I almost bought. So he's talking about going to a place where you can get individuals. I actually asked around on the Greater Cincinnati Beer Society Facebook page, like, hey, like where can I go to get like a really good selection of singles? And they were like, man, you got to go to this place called the Root Cellar, which is just not too far up the road for me. And I walk into this place and everything that they have in package, you can also get in singles. And so it was just like,
nice.
I walked in and I was just like, whoa, I was blown away. I was like, okay, this is going to take a little bit. And it was awesome. Like I ended up finding one that I didn't buy because I got told that it didn't taste as good as they thought. But it was or that it wasn't as good as they expected it to be. It was a peanut butter raspberry sour. And they said that peanut butter just threw it off. And I'm like,
it's peanut butter.
Yeah, I know. Those are just two different facets. Like to me, like
like there was what was it? There's a chicken. Was it a chicken wing sour I saw advertised online? Was it that someone posted in the beer group?
I did
the
see
chicken
that.
Wings. I was like,
is that even real though?
So somebody needs to draw the line somewhere.
It looked pretty real. It looked really real.
I didn't click on it. Well, I saw. Did you see, Casey? There was a. See, sometimes I don't even click on these beers because I don't even know if it's fake or not. I don't know what you're trying to do to me. There was and it was fake though. There was a Jimmy Dean biscuits and gravy beer.
Buffalo Wings.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was
Wings.
No, it's Buffalo Wangs. Yeah,
Wangs.
That one right there.
Vernon has so many terms. Yes, Vernon, but as you get into it, it's like riding a bike. You get into it, you start to learn. Buffalo Wangs. So I don't know who the Facebook user is. They say whenever there's an
Quetzal Torres.
Quetzal Torres.
Quetzal, my bad.
Yep, I usually sample another, ideally from a different batch. Yeah, Ketzel. This brewery, I think I've had this beer before too, and it was just off. So I think it was more of a packaging issue. And I don't hold it against this brewery because I know them. So it was just, sometimes a drain pour is just a drain pour. I think this is Ketzel too. Shout out to David Rogers, who first got me into sours, several Angels. Back when Wicked Weed was independent. Yeah, Wicked Weed was they're out of North Carolina. They got bought up by Big Beer, Casey. And I don't know if you so there's this thing down here, Casey, where all these, as you know, all these craft beer breweries just sprouted up. And Big Beer didn't know how to compete, right? So they just started buying up breweries. And they would just go around and buy the best ones. They would find out the ones that we love the most, and then they would just buy them. Is how I saw it. Or at
that
least
didn't happen up here.
Yeah.
What happened up here was they had the craft breweries came up, but then what happened is that the big breweries started reissuing a lot of their old stuff, recipes that were limited edition they hadn't really seen in ages. They brought them all back and started doing 2/4s of 24 packs of just singles all together. You get a real good mix of everything, and then if you like one in particular, you just go back to the beer store and grab more. Yeah, we don't have liquor stores up here. It's a little different. It's weird. Everything's government controlled.
Yeah, so man, time flies when you're having fun. It's time for
oh no.
Uh-oh.
My soul's not ready. My soul is not ready.
This is funny. This is a good one. I think you're gonna laugh. We'll see here. Let's see. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, yep. Everybody see? Everybody ready? You see what he's got, right?
Some animal in there.
Oh, that's a big rat. Oh, Lord. So bad.
Casey, what are you gonna do with us down here?
Wait, wasn't there a rumor a long time ago that that's what the McRib was made out of?
Yeah, there was a rumor about that a long time ago. How do you connect? Okay, I see a rat. Thank you, Vernon. Yes. Why? How do you okay? There's a big ass rat. I'm gonna take this rat to a Mickey D's, and I'm gonna let it out because why not? Why not?
Well, I guess sometimes I should show the caption. The caption says, "Man releases rat in McDonald's because of wrong order."
Oh shoot, that's even worse.
Wow.
Yo, anger issues.
But listen, okay, so put yourself on the flip side. You're eating there. Would you jump on the table and start a riot?
No, I'd just be out. I'd be out that place. I'd be gone. I'd be like, no, we're not doing this right now. It's not today. Not today, Satan.
So then you would start a riot because you would run out.
Is that what we define a riot? I guess so. Sure. Yeah. The Canadians starting a riot.
Wow, where was that?
I bet New York. I want to say New York.
Want to see it again, Daniel?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Oh, let me hold it.
The kid wants to hold it.
I mean, it sounds like NYC. I'm just saying.
Like, you see the rat is coming out. Would you be out now?
Well, what I want to know is, did he just buy it? Because the kid seems like it's just like a new thing to him.
Oh, hell.
Wow.
That's somewhere in America. We can't pass that off in Canada. I'm sorry.
Can't even get a wrong order in America. What the hell?
Right. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that is pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it before, and then it came back on today, and I was like, oh, this is a great one. I love it. It wasn't. It's kind of a Karen, but not right.
Well,
Is that classified as a Karen?
No,
I don't know if I'd call that a Karen.
That's an angry black man. That's is what it is. Is that Newark?
Daniel,
for real?
Daniel says that's Newark, New Jersey.
I mean, I wasn't that far. New York's not that far from NYC. Where's FFS? I'm kidding. I know what that means.
I can't even.
Oh yeah, no masks. Good call, Vernon. You're right. There's no mask in that video.
I'm pretty sure
Pre-pandemic.
So we can't even. So Brock, one of the things that I blame the Karens on is the pandemic, and we go back and forth on whether is it were Karens around all the time? Now we're seeing them more. Are they because it's pandemic? Are they? I mean, so all that. So I blame part of the reason I think we're seeing more Karens is because of the pandemic. I think just everybody's just on a heightened level. And it just doesn't take that much for people just to snap or.
And everybody's got everybody's got a video camera, or
everybody's got a camera too.
Yeah,
on their phone. So is it just more that we're just people just have the cameras and we're seeing it, or Karens have been around all the time and now we're documenting those bitches and bitches, not gender anything.
I think it's both.
Right. Well, because I just called him a Karen, or I accused him of being a Karen. The guy who let out the rat.
It was very Karenish behavior.
Listen, Karen starts trouble in public. That's their thing. Like they want this attention, and they're screaming and hollering or something. So, and it's always about a gripe too. Like you didn't feed me, and I don't have a mask, or blah blah blah. They're always griping about something. Now, this guy's gripe was you got my order wrong, so now I'm gonna wreak havoc in your restaurant. See, that is by definition a Karen. So that's where I'm at with that. We can disagree to agree or whatever. I don't know.
I feel like you have a book or a blog post out of it. Like black people could be Karens too. Like I'm just feels like something's like percolating there. I'm just saying. Right,
and then he unleashes Karens on other black people. The whole place was black people, and a white ass rat too. Anyway,
I can't. You're really reading into this now.
I can't.
On that note, and this is a bad segue because I don't want to translate over the prophet. It looked like you're itching to start a video there. So
yeah, I got to
go to you and move on from this.
Yeah, so I picked this up. I heard actually, I think it was last week, maybe it was a couple weeks ago. You were talking. Doug was talking about a black lager. I think it was a couple weeks ago. You guys were talking about that. Mm-hmm. So I just happened to pick this up from Listerman Brewing. It's their Schwartz beer. It's a German style black lager. It comes in at 5.5. And I just thought that the can art on it was awesome.
It's pretty.
So
pretty.
And Listerman Beer is a really cool brewery here in town over by Xavier University. And the guy, Dan Listerman, who owns it, he is the guy who's really responsible for pretty much like the home brewing. He's got the patent on a lot of the home brewing equipment that most people have in their houses. So
wow.
Yeah, so they actually started as a home brewing supply store. Like that's people were just coming in and buying the stuff that he had engineered, and then from there they started making their own beer. So they make some pretty awesome stuff. Their barrel aged stuff is ridiculous, but yeah, this is just their German style Schwartz. So
yummy.
Yeah.
It looks it. Who
it wasn't a mouse.
To release it.
It wasn't a mouse. Mice don't get that big.
Yeah, that was
a rat, man.
That was a rat.
That was a
Too
massive
far, Greg
rat.
Washington. I'm pretty sure that was the black people white rat comment.
It was 100%. I'm not doubting for a second.
Look at that head.
Very nice.
Look at that.
Very nice. Very nice.
I like your glass too.
This is my Sam Adams glass from
nice.
They have a tap room just like the one in Boston. Something else for you to come check out there, Greg.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll talk.
I want to see. I don't like Sam's big offerings. I want to taste their small ones.
Oh, their craft beer stuff is good at the tap room.
I bet you. And now they've been messing around with old Dogfish Head for how long now? Mm-hmm.
Yep. Man, this is good. This has got a really, man, that's a good lager smell to it. Just,
I'm like the only non-Cicerone in the room. Damn.
Yeah, none of us are, but we're good.
It's just spending time with Greg and just what is it like impersonating him?
Breaking news: no Cicerones. Working on it. Where is this? There's something I got to do now, and I always forget.
All right, yeah, that one. That's gonna be like that thing.
And now it's time. Say it, Casey.
It's time for our sponsor.
We're gonna do that more often. Now you're caught.
You got the perfect voice for it too.
Thank you.
Hey, Brock, what do you want to talk about?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. Honestly, I feel like I've got tons to talk about.
Go.
There's
Make
so
it
much
happen.
going on, man.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, yeah. So my name's Brock, and I'm involved in a lot of things on social media and whatnot, and especially in the dad world. Probably at the top of that list are the fact that I'm a board member for the National At-Home Dad Network, which is an awesome nonprofit for stay-at-home dads. I've got a few guys that are I see in the chat channel there that are on the board with me, and there's probably a few others watching. Who knows? But basically, the National At-Home Dad Network, like I said, we are a nonprofit that works with stay-at-home dads. We are a community online, and we have done a lot of great stuff during this pandemic. One of the biggest things that we've put out recently is a webinar series once a month, and we've brought some different folks on to just talk about everything from childbirth to how to be an influencer to homeschooling and not picky eaters, but like how to work with your kids when they are just driving you crazy and you want to figure out how to get kind of onto the next thing. And so you can find us on YouTube and check out those webinars. But one of the things that we just held here last week, we pivoted from our annual Homedadcon, which is usually a weekend event, which was supposed to happen here in Cincinnati. And there's the webinars. And we pivoted to a virtual event called DadCon at Home. And it went really well. We had 94 dads. We had a dad from the Netherlands and a few from Canada. And it was great. We had, 11 speakers, and we had probably some of the great speakers. We had Dante Palmer from Squat for Change. He was our opening keynote. Man, he really brought the thunder to start things off, and just shared about what he's been doing with that and where he wants to go with it, and just his passion for sharing about mental health of dads, which is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And then throughout the day, we had a bunch of different speakers. Probably one of the ones that I think was really well attended was Kimmy Wolf talked about fathers and teenage daughters. And so that went really well. And then at the end, we had Kenneth Kellogg come on, and he closed up. And for those of you who don't know who Kenneth Kellogg is, he is a Black opera singer. He's currently getting ready to hopefully open up the opera Blue. All of us got to hear him that are in this right now. I got to see him at Dad 2, and he was super impressive. Many of us have talked to him throughout. I know James Lopez had him on his show, and I got to hear even more information about who he was and where he's come from. So, man, it's just all kinds of stuff. So we did that. It went really well. We had some great sponsors. Our big sponsor was Happy Family Organic. They were our presenting sponsor, and they are going to be continuing on with us throughout the year. So we're excited to have them with the National At-Home Dad Network. And we're getting ready for what will be our official 25th anniversary in person for Homedadcon next year here in Cincinnati. It is going to be October 14th through the 16th, and tickets are available on Eventbrite currently. And if you are a stay-at-home dad and you've never been to Homedadcon, definitely check it out. It's a great chance to just connect with other at-home dads who understand where you are, where you're coming from. And just, it's a great way to just meet some guys that you might just talk to online all the time. And, I can't talk about it enough, honestly. It's done so much for me. It's put me in contact with so many different guys. So check that out here in Cincinnati. And we'll have all kinds of, we're working on speakers and all that kind of stuff. It's nice because it's a whole weekend. So a lot more spread out than just a one-day deal.
But Brock, I'm gonna ask you a deep question on this one.
Yeah.
So with the pandemic, a lot of dads unwittingly became stay-at-home dads or facsimiles of stay-at-home dads throughout the entire last 6, 7, however freaking many months. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
How have you seen your, like, I almost want to call y'all like pioneers when it comes down to the stay-at-home dad culture? How is it, like, has it been your time to shine? Have you guys been able to really impart some wisdom and knowledge onto the rest of us mopes who had to figure out what the hell we were doing and suffer for a while before we figured out like anything?
We've definitely had an influx of guys come in who are like, hey, like, I'm at home and I just want to know what goes, what are you doing? Like, how's this going to roll, that kind of thing. But on top of it too, like, for the rest of us who have been doing it for even a couple of years, like I've been at it for 3 years, it's one of those things where it's like not a lot changed in the fashion of like, I'm home with my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, for me, it was like, oh, like this was a great opportunity to get into this role. And now I'm really happy that I am, because my wife doesn't have to stress about how are we going to get the kids here or there if we were both working and all this other stuff. And so take care of the house, take care of the kids, and she can concentrate on her career. And even though she's stuck here at the house along with us, and we make it work. And so, yeah, we do get a lot of, we've definitely had some dads, both in the Cincinnati Dads group and in the National At-Home Dad group, and even a few other stay-at-home dad groups I'm in, where you definitely got guys who are like, how do I do this? Like, here I am. Please help.
Yeah, that was me.
So Casey, before we get to your next beer, Brock, you got, listen, love the guy, but you have to, I'm not going to miss, you have to talk about yourself. So
okay, I'll talk about myself. There it is. Yeah, so for the past 3 years, I've been the host of the Nomad Dad podcast. It's an acronym. It actually stands for the Not On My Ass Dad. And I just felt like the dad part just needed to be spelled out just to kind of make it all work. But it's this podcast. I've gotten over 50 different dads that I've talked to, all different topics, some writers. We've got actually, if you go to the podcast link itself, it'll probably pull up. Or you got that? Okay, maybe it's the blog link. I'm not sure. Either there's a way for it to show more than just those. But anyway, yeah. So it basically, I've talked to all these different guys that I've met through Dad 2 and the National At-Home Dad Network and City Dads and Father's Eve and Life of Dad, just a bunch of different guys. And honestly, like, there's a story in there for any dad on it. My very first episode, and I'll never forget it, was with a dad who actually is one of my high school friends' husband. And he talked to me like 2 weeks after his first child was born. And it was really wild to get his take on fatherhood. And so much. Yeah, I talked to Casey.
I was like, I know that episode.
Yeah, that episode's got a lot of clicks, man. There's a lot of downloads on that one. But yeah, man, so I really enjoy just getting the chance to talk to other dads and just highlight what's going on. I know that it probably looks, if you go through there's a lot of like promotion type stuff where I'm talking to dads who have books and things like that. But I've been connecting more with just guys who have really awesome stories. Vernon, I will call you. Yes. Vernon's got a book coming out.
Here's a question though. Here's a question. I remember after Dad 2 2018, and you chatted with Jason Creedman. You wanted to change up the SEO strategy for everything you did. Did you do that? Like, did you implement that, and has it had big changes for you?
I have not done that. Man,
I was like, episode 5. That doesn't look like you implemented it yet.
No, I haven't done any of that yet, and this
You're a busy dude. I feel you.
So much going on.
Yeah, man.
I needed
SEO is like one of those things that is like, sorry, let me spell it out for y'all who aren't like huge internet nerds like we are. So search engine optimization, basically how do you get your stuff to show up in Google on a more frequent basis and higher in the ranking. So there's an entire dark art to that takes up all your time and energy. It's like taking up at least like my last month easily. But yeah, it's all about how you position your words, how you put things together, how you put words on the page. It can drive you to drink.
It's how people find you.
Is that a good segue? Is that a good segue, Greg?
I got one last thing to talk about. Yeah, I know, John. JHG, he's pandering. He's wanting in. But no, so the one last thing. So for the coming month of November, it's the big Movember move. So, like the no shave November type of thing. Only Movember is an organization that's been pushing men's health. And this year, we're combining our efforts. It's Life of Dad, the National At-Home Dad Network.
Oh, wow.
City Dads, Dad 2.0, all coming together to wrangle everybody from the corral. Like, if you're a part of one of those and you have never been a part of Movember, this is the year to do it. Raise money and get things going. And we are making a huge push. And so I was excited to get contacted by Tommy Riles from Life of Dad. He was like, "Hey, do you want?"
Tommy Riles.
He's like, "You want to help me get these guys connected?" I'm like, "Yes, let's do it." So yeah, we started the push on Thursday on it, and it'll go through all of this month and through November, raising money for Men's Health. So I'm really pumped about it.
Yo, holla at me again. I can do some pushing on my end. Not a problem.
Cool, like that. Yeah, we have some guys from Canada involved. That sounds great.
Awesome. So Greg tapped out for a second, but he wanted me to do my second beer, so I'm going to talk about that for a second, if that's all right.
Do it. What you got?
So, well, summer's on the way out, as it's like, it's getting cold. So sours are going to be harder to come by, at least in Toronto. I don't know if it's the same down there, but I
never stopped here in Cincinnati.
Up here is just like you have sour season and you have stout season, and we're just kind of like sours are almost done. So I went to like Bellwood's Brewery, which is kind of like one of our sorry, I'm trying to show the art, but it's like all crazy. So it's one of the bigger sour brewers in town on the west side of Toronto, which is like a sin for me because basically you don't cross over to the west side if you're on the east side. East side's where I'm at. I'm just kind of like, that's what I do. But it's a pink guava dry hop sour at what is the ABV on this? 5.6. So I'm gonna try it out because I already smelled it and I was like, it's a very different scent from the stout I had before. Like you can see the pink hue in this already, and it's just like it's gonna be a lot more concentrated sour flavor. So I think it's gonna knock the stout on my tongue out to lunch. Oh, that is sour. It's good, but it's sour. But because I had the stout, it's
just need to hold
sour.
That for a little bit longer, and we can do this. Like, we can get it with a GIF.
Ooh, that's sour. Guava's delicious. It's my kind of drink. I feel like I could do like one glass of this at a time and be like, I'm good. I'm good. That's enough. That's enough. They actually make a few different varieties. So they have their original. This is their pink guava varietal, and they have a blackberry. I want to say like blackberry raspberry. They also do as well, which is really good.
That's my jam.
Yeah, that one's a good one. So yeah, I'm trying to get like the last bits of sour in the Toronto market before we go into full on winter. And I'm just like getting all the hot toddies and my stouts and anything warm that'll keep like my bones like all nice and warm when we get to minus 30, because that will happen in like four months from now.
No, thank you.
So you gotta stock up and get ready for it up here in nice old Toronto.
That blackberry raspberry sour, that's my jam. Urban Artifact makes one called the Gadget, and that's what they have. It's so good. I had that also. I drank that most of the summer.
I'm definitely more of a berry sour guy. I'm finding that more and more as time goes on, that if you can put a berry, like a good, like I saw in the photo you sent up to your beers before the show, you had a cherry one over there, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's
where I roll. That's my happy spot right there. When you get like a good berry or fruit, a solid fruit like that, put some sour, mix it together, it usually turns out really well for me. So
Well, you were saying that you like stouts, so I picked up one.
He doesn't.
I don't. I usually don't.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was the first one where I was like, huh, I could drink another one of these.
So, well, one of my favorite stouts comes from a place called Saunders Brewing up in Mason, Ohio, which is right next to, right just down the road from Kings Island Amusement Park. But
I have no context for that, but okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a big amusement park.
I do.
I've been in Sandusky. Does that help?
You're close. You're getting there. That's the point. A little bit stuff. They own Kings Island now.
We'll give you credit for that.
Yeah.
It took a road trip. It took a road trip in 2007 over to Cedar Point from here.
There you go.
It was a fun time. Oh man,
that's
full on turkey leg on the bone.
Well, so this is Sonder Brewing. I'm not going to open this tonight, but Sonder Brewing. They actually one of their brewmasters is actually a gentleman that came from New Glarus.
There we go.
Yeah. And this is their double tiramisu stout.
I saw it on the can. I was like, I'm sorry, a double what? A double tiramisu in a can?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It is delicious. And smooth. And Matt Schneider from City Dads, his family, his in-laws live here in town. And when he comes in, we'll hit up Saunders because it's not too far from where they live. And I introduced this to him. I almost thought I was going to be his monthly supplier of this stuff.
I need my hookup.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't been like, send me some now when we were on this pandemic.
It's time, Greg.
Uh-oh.
It's time.
I don't know if this one's gonna bring so much joy as the last one. I'm just warning you guys. Okay?
No random albino rats at McDonald's. Okay.
Yeah. Is this a shock and all video?
Yeah, this one's a little. I'll just play it. Oh man. Let's see. Is everything set up?
Starting out with that picture.
Everybody can see it. Great. Here we go.
This is why you carry around disinfectant wipes, folks.
Right. The caption says this guy wants to catch the coronas.
He's on his way.
But doesn't that give you a different view of why we need to watch where we're touching?
What?
I bet that dude watched Elf and was like, I can one up Buddy the Elf real quick.
I feel like Burden articulates everything that's going on in my head, and it just like gives me one point every time. Between the why from the first one and the I'm done for this one, I'm like, Burden, you get me right now.
I see what there's always something below the surface. So what I take from that is, like, think about how reckless we were with germs before the pandemic. Just think about it. And think about how now you wash your hands and you're all worried about the groceries you bring in the house and where your kid had his hands last. Meanwhile, this mouth is over there licking shopping carts. And I don't know what to do anymore, guys. I don't really even know what to say.
That guy was from like England, wasn't he? Like it seemed like he had a British accent.
He had something, but come on, Brock. You know,
there's people like that everywhere, though.
Oh, I know.
He said Corona, but I think there was another language going on. But like again, to me is like, are you guys are you still as vigilant about where you touch and all that? Are we still at that point of the pandemic, or where are we at? We don't care anymore. Where are we at?
Brock, how old are your kids?
My kids are 4 and 7.
So that's a no. That's a hard no for him. That's also a hard no for me, where I'm just kind of like,
I mean,
they touch everything.
Yeah, they touch everything, but we do a pretty good job. And actually, they're pretty vigilant about using hand sanitizer and washing their hands. I mean, even my 4-year-old, she's like, I use my hand sanitizer at school today. And I'm like, great. That's awesome. So it's just stuff like that. But I mean, I carry it around with me, and I definitely use it. But I don't know. I think it's more about just being vigilant, washing your hands, that kind of stuff. And
I know I am. I'll wash my hands till my hands go raw. I will wear my mask outside all the time, but then all it takes is my kid coming and like putting his hand in my face, and I'm just kind of like, well, all that went to shit.
I'm the silver lining guy. I always try to look for it, and for me, the silver lining is that besides we have morons like this, most people are more cognizant of where you touch, where you're breathing, what kind of germs are going on, washing your hands. I think that's a good part of the pandemic that I think it's going to take us a while for us to unravel that, meaning to go back to where we were as a society. It's going to take a long ass time. We'll probably go. Listen, I'm speaking for not Canada, America. We're Americans. We're fucking lazy. We're tired of the pandemic already. You can see it. We're just tired of it. We wanted to just go away, and it's not, but we just wanted to just go away. So there's no way that this whole sanitizing and hand thing is going to last like even a generation.
So
it's not going to last.
Well, hold on. Let's real talk. Hold on.
I got a point too.
Canada would be exactly where y'all are, 100%, if we didn't have different leadership. 100%, because you see people on the beach in the summertime. We went ham in the summer, and we're paying for it now. Like when we got to like a week ago, and we had like the biggest peak, like we had our biggest record since like April. And we're just kind of like, we just did not care. We dipped down for a long time in the summer, and then it just all blew up back in our faces because we just all were behaving so badly for so long. So if we didn't have different leadership and different measures put in place up here, we'd be a lot worse off. But it's because we had like a more of a more kind of not lockdown, but like more measures put in place that we were able to like manage it. But it's only going up right now for all of Toronto. Basically, it's like crazy. It's a mess right now. Sorry, Brock.
Yeah. So you're fine. So two things. One silver lining that I've been saying is that my hope is that this breeds a generation of people, and you've got the kids here is what I'm talking about, breeds a generation that is more mindful of cleanliness. And that, you think about it like right now, like, kids probably, the spike of flu and things like that, you might not see it as much right now, or the fact that like throughout the summer, like or through the spring, like my kids weren't sick because, they weren't around all these other petri dishes. And so my hope is that you see this sort of like, we need to be more cleanly. So we'll see how that goes, but that's my hope. That's the silver lining to it. And two, you were talking about spikes. So things were pretty good here for a while, for the most part, like they were staying pretty level. Ohio seemed to have a pretty good grasp on things, and had been very like, they were aggressive on the front end, and people were kind of like giving them a bunch of crap. Like DeWine caught a bunch of crap. We lost our health, like we lost one of our big people in with that. And then what's interesting is that we've spiked up, and so is Indiana. They've spiked up. And the really sucky part about that is because of those spikes, now there's a travel advisory. And where my parents were supposed to come here for this weekend for my daughter's 5-year birthday, that's not happening. So, it sucks, man. It just, not being.
We're actually,
we're getting tired of it.
Yeah.
Casey?
Well, I was on that point. Like, Sarah and I are celebrating our 10-year next year, and we're already like trying to figure out. Thank you. We're trying to figure out if we can actually go out, and travel across country to like spend some time. Next, like we're talking August. Like our 10 years in May, and we're talking like August next year. And we're just exactly. We want to, but we're just kind of like, will we be able to?
I'm optimistic for August.
I'm so hoping, man.
I'm optimistic.
If you would have said April, I would have been like, nah, bro, you got
Nah.
Right.
August is enough time for some vaccine inoculation.
I'm hoping, man. If it's like Casey, you need to take like 15 needles. I'm like, yo, bring it. I'm just like undressed like
right.
I'm ready. Acupuncture.
Yeah. Another silver lining thing, though, Brock, when I say what I wanted to say is too is not only it's not only the hand washing and stuff. It's about, in my opinion, again, we're talking just American case, so you can comment on Canadians. It's about personal space. Like there was no regard for people's personal space. And if you think about it, right before the pandemic, or was it right, but a couple years before that, little time before the pandemic, we went through the Me Too movement where men just get up on women and don't ask and don't there's no permission. They just do it. And that's part of like I don't want to get into the Me Too thing, but that's part of the whole, like, there's a personal space type thing going on. And now with COVID, you got to stay 6 feet away. I just hope the 6 feet away thing's never going to stay. But I just hope people again, continue to be mindful of people's space. You don't have to be up in front of people. You don't have to get all close to them. You know what I mean? I'm a hugger. You guys know I'm a hugger, but I'm only gonna hug you and you because I know you. I ain't just gonna go hug up on somebody I don't know. And so the personal space thing, I think it could be a really good thing going forward, as far as having a little bit more mindfulness about being close to people and shit.
Well, and asking too for consent, like, hey, is it cool? That kind of, like, being more verbal about it. I think that's another part that's going to come out of it.
Consent will expand to more parts of life.
Isn't it great though that your in-laws just can't roll up on you now?
It's not me. It's my parents. It's my parents, actually.
I'm talking not just you, Brock. I'm talking to everybody. Like, how the in-laws or your neighbors would be like, hey, Brock, you got any butter? Like, no. I'll put the butter on a dish. And then
pick it up off the porch.
Hey, Brock, you got any eggs? You know what I mean? So anyway,
oh my goodness.
One of the shows this is funny, it reminds me of one of the shows that I want to show my kids. Like, so this is a good question. Is there a show that you want to show your kids when you grow up? Well, my answer is Dennis the Menace. I fucking love Dennis the Menace. So believe it or not, Dennis the Menace comes on in my house at like 9:00 in the morning, and it's a really good time because usually we're in there, getting breakfast and milling around, and my boys get to see Dennis the Menace. And I was like, I love this show. And my boys were like, why do you love this bullshit? So then after like a couple weeks, my oldest one is like, Dennis the Menace is really cool. And Dennis's problem, remember Dennis's thing was like, he was just always like in everybody's space. He was, especially Mr. Wilson. He was always on Mr. Wilson. And like, that kind of reminds me of like how we were pre-pandemic, where especially in America, Casey, you talk about it, we would just roll like Brock's parent. Again, I don't know Brock personally this well, but like Brock's parents would just roll up and just, you know what I mean? Like there's just a certain level, there are parents who just don't.
My father has said,
hi Brock.
My father has said, I quote, I don't make appointments. So he just shows up on you and I'm like, what?
Now, I will say that my parents are definitely good about telling us when they're going to come visit. They haven't just like, whoop, here we are. Like they are good.
Can I adopt your parents?
Mr. Wilson. And this is why Michelle and I have moved 1,000 miles away from both our parents. Oh, I didn't say that on live stream, did I?
I didn't hear anything. I heard nothing.
Here, and he's already giving away all these truths.
They don't watch this shit, but if they do, I'll find out in the morning.
Oh, I want to know. I
I expect to follow up on this one.
Oh my goodness.
So on that line, I don't know if our friend Casey from up north has. Is there anything that you want to ask Brock and I?
You know what? Yeah.
You understand America this week.
So in your two-party-ish system, and I'm saying party-ish because I saw Diddy just started up the Black Party today, so I'm just kind of like, yo, Diddy, slow down. But anyway, it's like a pageant for y'all when it comes down to politics. Like I know we don't talk politics that much, but it's like between fly memes, between let me finish, between everything I see out there, I'm just kind of like, why is it so sensationalized? It's nuts. Like slow your roll, guys. Explain.
I love it.
Okay.
I just love the fact that for me, like, I think it's funny that that Trump declined to do a virtual debate. He said that he didn't want to have the ability to be cut off or muted because, of course, like they would have the control of that. And I'm like, that's what it should be during the debate.
That's what you need.
There needs a freaking switch, man. Like, seriously, every time you go and cut somebody off, or Biden for that matter, either one of them, whoever's speaking over the other one, they just need to be shut off. Not that it's going to stop them from talking, for crying out loud, but still, yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't talk much of this because I'm not real big into it myself, but it is just really annoying, and it's like watching two toddlers fight over a toy.
So I think that when you ask the question and you got two big heads like me and this guy, and none of us said anything for like 5 seconds, I think that was your answer, actually. Really, there's nothing. This man, and when I mean this man, Donald Trump, has turned the presidency into a reality show, literally. So that's part of it, Casey, is what you're seeing. Like, it was a reality show before, and media wanted to make it, but now we have the perfect person to like personify that nonsense, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes sense. I'm always thinking like 5, 10, 20 years out, and I always wonder what the history books are going to say about this era, right? When it comes down to like what the last 4 years are looked like, what it comes down to like what 2020 looked like, and we're like 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Like, remember? So I was like, where if you look pandemic up in a book from 2019, you talk about the Spanish flu. You look up a pandemic in a book from like 2025, it's going to be now. It's going to be right now. And like, how did we manage this crap? And I'm just like, and when I look at stuff like, the Trump administration and things like that, I'm just kind of like, I don't know how people are gonna do case studies on this in the future, but it's gonna be some shit.
And you do know too, a lot of shit comes out after. So like
100%.
Well, the shit that happens now. Wait till he's gone, and then they start saying, "Oh, well, this really," because then everybody's gonna start really talking.
Yeah,
and,
as soon as he's out of power.
It's not going to be good. It's going to be like, how did we survive that shit? So anyway,
right.
Brock, what is going on down there?
Man, I'm being driven to drink a heavy beer.
Ooh, what you got?
All right, so this is from a brewery in Newport, Kentucky. I went a little south. This is Wooden Cask Brewing Company. This is their Kentucky Tweed bourbon barrel aged English mild ale. It is aged in a New Riff, which for those of you who probably don't know, New Riff bourbon distillery is also in Northern Kentucky, and it's relatively new. I think it's only like 6 years old, but really good bourbons. I've enjoyed that. I've done some tours there and things, but they put this in a barrel for 4 months. And so I've never had it before, actually, but I love a good barrel-aged beer, and I really enjoy English mild. So we're gonna give this thing a taste. The color on it's really good. It's like a dark amber. Ooh, that's got a nice boozy. Oh man, that is smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, like. You get the bourbon. You can taste the bourbon on the back end of it really well. Oh man, it's got some vanilla and some caramel in it. Oh, that's good. Wow, that's really good actually. It says to drink it. It says to drink it chilled, but I bet as this warms up, the flavors really start to come forth in it a bunch. But man, so Wooden Cask is a really small brewery too. But I love it. Like they've got some just amazing beers. Their place is actually, I've done tours in it. Their place is actually housed in an old gangsters area. So the thing that most people probably don't know about Newport, Kentucky is that it was Las Vegas before Las Vegas was Las Vegas. So some of the big gangsters of the day hung out in Newport, Kentucky. And so yeah, Newport and Cincinnati, there was a lot of gangster activity there. I mean, you had George Remus was here in Cincinnati, who was Al Capone's boss.
Oh,
yeah, and he was a pharmacist, and he lived here, and he lived over on the west side of town, over in Price Hill, and had a huge mansion. Actually, the Great Gatsby is actually written based on him. Like that's who the Great Gatsby was written about. Basically, was George Remus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of history there. He actually would have people rob his trucks during Prohibition to sell the liquor to other people because he was the only one that could do it because he was a pharmacist. I learned all this when I was working for a Cincy brew bus, but it's great knowledge, like honestly. Remus is also the very first guy who actually got off with a plea of temporary insanity for killing his wife at Eden Park here in town after his wife slept with the FBI agent who put him in jail for tax evasion. And he killed her in like what was it, like middle of the day, broad daylight, point blank, shot and killed her, and then pleaded temporary insanity and got off on it. It was crazy. Yeah, great. I mean, the history of gangsters, which I love gangster history. There's some great gangster history here in Cincinnati.
Somebody should take a screenshot of you telling that story on our basis. It was, yeah, do it.
It's one of my favorite stories to tell, especially on the tour. It gets that exact same look every single time. But it's
right.
There's actually a brewery in town called 50 West Brewing, and they own the building called they own the roadside inn that George Remus actually ran a lot of his bootlegging stuff out of, because 50 West was in Cincinnati, and they make a beer called was it Remus's Revenge or something like that. They got a couple beers that are based off of it, and they're barrel aged and they're amazing.
I don't know what to say.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm kind of still All right, well,
speechless, huh?
Time flies when you're having fun. I'm ready to wrap here, Brock.
Vernon.
All right, what's going on? What am I missing?
Vernon
says he's dropping knowledge. I'm like, there's dropping knowledge, and then there's dropping knowledge. It's like, do we need to know though? Do we need to know? Like, no one get any ideas. No one.
I love this. Cut off Casey's mic. He's a loose cannon. Kind of like our president, right?
That's back. He dropped that back when we were having the debate talk, and I was like, come on, Vernon. Come on, you love this. You love this.
All right, we gotta have this on Zoom, right? Yeah, Vernon. I don't know. We can always do this, Vernon, if we need to. It's always there at our disposal. We can just drop it.
I was like, I should run off right now. Just leave Mike here.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask. I'm curious. Oh, Brock just killed the mood. Brock. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good at that. That's me. I just brought it on there. So let's do this then. I got a question. So, are you going to come to Cincinnati at some point when all this lifts, Greg?
Wait. Is that the Greg or Casey?
Greg.
I'm coming to Homedadcon.
Okay, just making sure. Casey, are you going to come? Are you going to come back to Cincinnati and actually like experience it for what it really is?
Listen. I was going to say
sidewalks that you were hanging out in.
If someone walks me through Cincy on like an actual like here's what Cincy's all about tour, I'm like, cool, I'll do it, no problem.
I'm your guy.
That's why I got you. Don't worry, I know you there.
I'm your guy. You know I'm there. Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, no,
quite a bit.
I always love when someone can show me where they're at, where they live, and really what's going on there, because you know I used to, when I was growing up, I used to get really cheesed at my parents for like only traveling to places where they knew people, because I'd be like, what? But there's like all these other cool places in the world. Why are we going only to these ones? And then now as I'm older, I realize it's like, if you want to know the real stuff, where the real good places to eat are, the real good places to hang out are, and the real experiences, you go to someone who lives there and they'll show you what's up. So that's how I really orient my travel these days. Unless I'm like, literally like I need to go like hang out and escape reality for like a week, I'll go somewhere like where I don't know anybody. But for the most part, I really enjoy going out and like being able to like experience what someone who's local experiences, because you always get stuff that you wouldn't get otherwise.
when I first moved here to Cincinnati, I was going to college, and I actually made up a pamphlet of like all the places to go check out, like for all the other college students on campus, because everybody was like, "Where should we go? What should we do?" And it was like, let me just research some stuff. Like, what can we find for free or cheap? And man, I had a 3-fold paper of stuff for guys and gals to go do on like spring breaks or on the weekends.
SEO before SEO. Well done.
Yeah.
Or Casey, the other alternative is that you go to these conventions that we do, and then you go to a new place, and then you explore with your friends. Because this is I think this is a great tip. Because when you go to that too, generally speaking, you show up, you go to the events, and then you hook up with your friends at night. So then, Brock, what are you doing? Brock's like, oh, I'm going to some Vietnamese place, and then we're going to jazz. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I don't know if I want to do that. Casey, what are you doing? Oh, we're going to seafood.
You get your cruise. Yeah, you get your cruise.
You with me? We're going to seafood. Oh, and then we're going to go out to a bar after that. Oh, that's okay. So then you ask someone else, and they're like, oh, we're going to buffet, or we're going to steakhouse. So, like, people do, like, when you go to a conference, like, people do their own research. So then you can, like, almost, like, you know what I mean, just either go with the flow or do your own research. So that is the exception. But you're right, man. Like, going to all these conventions and meeting these people in new places, it just puts them on the map for me. Because then Brock's like, yo, man, you got to come and see all these breweries. Like, for me, it's, yo, man, you got to come see my local breweries. That's what everybody wants me to say. And I'm like, all right, well, when am I coming? Cool. All right, cool. You're going to have that Friday and that Saturday open, and you're going to take me to breakfast, or you're going to take me to lunch and shit. Okay, cool.
Itinerary, let's go.
Okay, you got a coffee shop? I need a call. I got to wait to get my coffee. And then, bourbon. Anyway, go on.
Hold on. Brock says something to say about gravy.
Yeah, didn't we say we were going to talk about gravy at one point earlier on? So
let's go. Let's talk about gravy.
So when you come to Cincinnati, I'm going to take you to a place called Boone County Biscuits. And they have flights of gravy paired with bourbon. Flights of gravy paired with bourbon.
No.
Yes.
No, don't make that face, Greg. That's amazing. Flights of gravy, bro. That sounds great. Yeah, no.
So, Casey's coming to Cincinnati now next year.
What kinds of gravy? I mean, that sounds
gravy.
Listen, yo, we do not get in.
This is gourmet gravy, man. This isn't like your mama's gravy. This is not
we do not get enough bourbon and enough different kinds of gravy up here that we're like, I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to try it.
Vernon's all excited now. We're talking about gravy.
But how do you have poutine but you don't have different?
I said different kinds of gravy. We have very specific kinds of gravy. Poutine comes with a certain. Well, okay, you know what? I'm lying because we cook everything. We have meats. I literally had like oxtail I had oxtail poutine literally like 2 weeks ago. So I'm lying to you. But at the same time, like we're pretty purist when it comes to most gravy. So I don't know. But we don't do flights of gravy. That sounds interesting already. What do you want? What do you want?
We're really getting good comments here in the comment.
Can we talk poutine? We can always talk poutine. You want to talk poutine? Okay.
Vernon, you're new to this. We talk poutine every time this motherfucker's on.
Poutine is awesome. I live in Ontario, so our poutine is subpar. You have to go to Quebec to get your damn good poutine, and they're on point. The poutine, smoked meats, rotisserie chicken, and desserts. Quebec's got that on point. However, you also get a lot of racism, so you have to kind of forward through that to get your good food.
How do I order that shit? I don't speak French.
No, they have a lot of English speakers in Quebec. Like they just hate on you. Like they'll be like, he speaks anglais. We hate him. Spit in his food. But hey, whatever. Don't worry about the spit. Just eat.
By the way, Casey.
Yeah, but I'm a sucker for an accent. I love an accent.
So Casey,
you pretty much tell me anything to do with an accent.
But Quebecois French isn't like real French. Like Parisian French is like sexy. Quebecois French is like. Anyway, what's up, Brock?
I was gonna say for next year we might have a few more Canadians coming to Homedadcon because there's a band that lives up in Yellowknife,
Northwest Territories.
Yeah.
What?
4 stay-at-home dads.
Whoa! You have people coming from Yellowknife? Like, yo, I'm interested. I'm already interested.
You can see the range of where we went this year with pushing out stuff on social media.
No one knows where Yellowknife is. No one brings up Yellowknife casually in a conversation, Brock.
I'm bringing it up. So I had it in my back pocket just for you. So we've got 4 guys. They're a part of a band called the 4 Housemen because they're all stay-at-home dads, and they're in this band, and they are talking about coming down to Homedadcon for next year and performing along with attending.
You tempted me right now. Like I haven't been to Yellowknife because it's damn far. Like it's north. It's
way there.
North.
Yeah.
But like I don't think what America doesn't understand about Canada is that literally if the North Pole was a real place, sorry children, any children watching right now, the North Pole is really not a real place. Like let's be real about this. But all those ice flows and crap at the top of the planet are part of Canada. Like we basically go from like livable to like you will die if you stay outside for 5 minutes. That's all Canada.
Time.
Yo, okay, so yeah. Scroll north. Get north of it. So like
we're gonna have some. Yes, it's way up there for sure.
So that's the Northwest Territories, and the Northwest Territories are cold as hell for like 8-9 months of the year.
You know what's funny though is so we're talking about that. I love car shows, Casey. I love car shows. Right.
I'm waiting. This sounds weird.
So I just got done watching Rust to Riches. Which is a show here in the U.S. But what showed up for me was a show from Canada called Rust Valley Restorers.
Yeah.
And these dudes live even further north, I think, than them.
I can't believe you looked up the driving distance for Northwest Territory. 45 hours. I'm like, bro, you did not do that. Listen, okay, if you look at that map, the entire bottom layer of Canada is all the provinces where it's like livable. The territories, Nunavut, New York, the Northwest Territories, and the Yukon are like, why do we hate ourselves? Is basically it. Like, you guys think it's bad with Alaska. Alaska is cold, but like we get it mad cold.
They own cars. They own cars and Cessnas up there, don't they, to get around?
Mm-hmm. No.
Alaska's going to be warmer just because it's closer to the ocean and
the water. Exactly. Right. That's exactly it. There are parts of the territories where you cannot drive there. You literally have to fly your supplies in. So like a jar of peanut butter in Nunavut is 4 times the cost that a normal jar of peanut butter would be because you can only fly goods in. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Canadian. I have so much Canada I can explain to you guys. It's like it's a hot mess when it comes down to the infrastructure of it because of how it's all set up. But I'll visit Yellowknife in the summer. I'll do it. Like it'll probably be colder.
Yeah. So anyway, they're talking about coming down. So
you want me to come in like a July? You want me to come to Yellowknife in like July 20th? I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. You say like you start saying September 20th. I'm like, hey, no, that's dangerous.
Wow, is that like that's like ice road trucker territory?
That's actually where Yellowknife is actually where the ice road truckers started at, because one of the guys from the band was actually at Dadcon at home, and I got the chance to talk to him, and he said that road comes right through Yellowknife.
No, I can't even watch that show. I would never do it.
I love that show. My dad's a truck driver, so I love that show.
I can watch it, but I'm like, like I couldn't imagine being in one of those trucks. This is not going to ever happen. Fuck you. Don't even try it. No.
I can't front. I do eventually want to visit the territories just to spend some time up there and get to know what it's all about. But it's got to be summer, man. Like it already gets to minus 30 here, and we're like almost at the southern tip of Canada.
Casey, how many of us are up there?
Yo, I should. Okay, I'm gonna send you something for next show because I've literally no. I'm gonna tell you something. I've literally mapped out the distribution of Black people across Canada. It is sad as hell. So you get outside of like literally 5 areas that make up 0.01% of the land in Canada,
right? And
suddenly it dips really quickly.
All right, so we gotta go. We're gonna up the population by 100%.
Yeah, you go to the north, they're gonna be like,
right for the weekend. No, that's man. I didn't. It's funny because we said Yellowknife, you said Northwest Territories, but when you actually look at that map, like we don't like America's big, but Canada is just huge,
massive, second biggest country in the world.
So I see a movie. I see a movie here. It's got a different title to it, but I mean it's already been made. But coming to Canada.
Stop.
There we go.
Stop. No. Black people do not go farther north in a certain parallel. As you go past that, it's just kind of like no, Vernon, you don't want that. You don't want that. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you right now. Unless you have like a -60 coat at home, don't do it.
Wait, so just to flip things. So are you excited that Coming to America 2 is coming out in December?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I love that. That movie was awesome.
Great movie. So glow.
And more classic Eddie Murphy before he went daddy daycare and shit.
Well, one of my favorite scenes is when he's introducing or when they're describing the restaurant, how it's different than McDonald's.
Yes.
So good. It's so good. That and glow. That and glow, man. I see Greg with some glow in his hair.
Yeah.
So glow's where it's at.
Better than the gray shit. So Brock, you have to tell us your beers. Tell us from worst to best or best to worst, and time where we sum up what we're drinking and talk about that. And yeah.
So I mean, the Mad Tree is definitely like just a staple. Like it's delicious no matter what. I'd say out of the two new ones that I just drank, man, this wooden cask barrel aged is, like I said, as it gets warmer, more of the flavor comes out in it, more of the bourbon comes out in it. And so it's sweet and just warm. So I really like that. And then I'd say, I'd probably put this in third, but I mean, it's not like a bad third. Like it's great. Like I would drink this again in a heartbeat. Like it's just a really tasty lager. Honestly, I'd probably drink this warm because I feel like as a German style black lager and me being of German heritage, like it needs to be drank at just room temperature and it would probably taste good. And that's actually why I just have the rest of it just sit in a glass to drink after this ends. So there's my 3.
Yummy. Well, Brock, if we don't get off now, we'll go another hour and a half. And that's how it works. Because this hour and a half went like
well, I've been waiting on the show forever, so I'm happy to.
I blame the Canadian guy. You can blame whatever you want.
That's fair.
Right. Brock, it's been nice talking to you, nice having you. Any parting shots? Anything else you want to say before we wrap this baby up?
I think the only thing I would say is that please come to Homedadcon. It's a great time, and honestly, it's just a great opportunity to hang out in this part for hanging out in Cincinnati, but Homedadcon in itself, just getting to hang out with other dads who are.
And it's not just for stay-at-home dads.
It's not. No, it's not. Exactly. There you go, Casey. It's not just for stay-at-home dads. Exactly. It's for dads. Mm-hmm. And so if you are just, having a hard time connecting with other dads, like come to this awesome conference and really get the opportunity to not only do that, but it's got great speakers. You're going to learn things. It's going to have an impact on how you father your children in a good way. And you're going to find somebody who is in a similar situation to you, and you're not going to feel alone. And no dad should feel alone. And that is the biggest thing that I really want guys to know, is that fatherhood is not a lone wolf thing. It is, we are a pack. We are tight. We're a brotherhood. And that is the biggest thing about the Homedadcon and the National at Home Dad Network. We are a brotherhood of fatherhood.
Somebody can't wait. That's our friend Tim.
Yep, Tim McMichael. Yep.
And Jade, she has the best tip, which is you got to brewery hop with this guy. And he's
Listen, right. You get me in a room with Greg, Doug, Brock, JG, a few others. It's gonna go crazy. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be
I'm just saying.
It's gonna be crazy, right? So Brock, awesome having you. We got to have you and JHC back before Homedadcon. A long way out of that from that, but you said October, man. Yep. We should be in the clear. We should hopefully be in the clear. So yeah, can't wait. Let's finish these before we let Brock go, and get to see me. Yay!
Bonus.
Anyway, here, Brock.
Thanks for everybody coming out tonight, man. I feel like a lot of my stay-at-home dad buddies jumped on tonight, which is awesome.
Yeah, Vernon never watched the show, so I gotta blame you or not never. He don't hang out the whole time like he did tonight, so I blame it on one of you.
I'll take the blame.
Preach, Brock, he says. Yeah, 2021. Yes, I mean, I don't know. Last thing before we let Brock go, we're looking so hopeful for 2021. I don't know if we want to get our hopes up yet. Like, let's like everybody says to me. Like, I go online and I'm like, yeah, Joe Biden's up 700 points on fucking Trump. Yeah, and everybody's like, calm down, dude. The fucking polls. Calm down. The polls. I'm so fucking tired of that shit. The polling scientific will fucking right and deal with it. All right.
Casey just gets to listen to this because he doesn't have any vote at all.
I got literally no skin in the game. I can't do shit.
No vote. 0 vote, and he gets to listen to us.
So, okay. But people will do that. It's the same thing. Like 2021, it's going to be great. And let's take a deep breath. 2021 is right after 2020, so this shit could just spill into it.
Hey, don't be negative. Don't be negative.
Relax. I understand where. I understand. Yeah, look. Yes, I got an agreement. Yes, Vernon. The freaking out over the polls and all this, it just makes me want my head explode.
Just go vote, and it's right. It's gonna. The chips are gonna fall where they're gonna fall. Go vote, and that's the thing. Like that's go vote.
I didn't really mean to get into like the whole posting. I'm just saying like people like get all freaked out when they have their mindset on things. So I think everybody has their mindset that 2021 is going to be better. And I'm just saying, Brock, on that note, we'll see you in 2021.
All right, man. Sounds good.
It's going to be great.
Thanks, Brock, for coming on. I love you guys, man.
Thanks for giving us some time, buddy. See you soon.
Good having you, man.
So, Casey.
Yo.
My little freak out at the end. How was your first co-hosting experience with just me?
I mean, you got to answer that. I think I was comfortable, but did I do okay?
Well, I don't know. Hey, folks, did he do okay or not? Tell us in the comments.
Is there room for improvement? Man, like I just hope I do it. What? Shout out to Doug. Shout out to Doug for like doing this for as long as he has, and he's off tonight for a very good reason, to celebrate a birthday. That family moments are important.
And you don't know how much it took for me to get Doug to take a fucking day off. And yes, it's his son's birthday and all that, and that's great. But Doug would have done his son's birthday and just came on like nothing. And there's no disrespect to his son, he would have done, his dadly things and all that.
Dadly duties.
For sure. Mm-hmm, but at the same time, it's like, Doug, take a date.
No, I'm glad he can spend some time to like do it up, spend some time with his son, and just like do something else, So it's like I'm happy to be of service where I can be, and it looks like everyone's okay with it, so this is a good sign. I'll be back. I'll keep it up. Don't worry, I will not run away.
Right, you will be back next week with Black Fathers Foundation, Kelly and Matt Pressberry, and
that's gonna be trouble.
That is going to be trouble. And Doug's going to be back for us, so it's going to be us 3, then 2. It's going to be fun as hell. Then the week after is Halloween. And
I'm not here. I'm not here at all. I'm
yeah,
my kids are
we have a good guest on Halloween. Won't spoil that, but he's fun as hell. And then we have our politics show on Halloween Saturday. And I get to scream and holler about polls again. I can't wait, actually. like I'm the only one that believes the polls, and I enjoy them. And people are like, "Don't get too complacent." I voted. What else do you want me to do? Like shriek or something? Like I enjoy the polls and I voted. What else am I supposed to do? Anyway,
can I ask a question before I tell you what beer was my beer? I see a Daniel Fisher comment saying everyone brings some big beers next week. What does one define as a big beer? Like, so I know what I'm doing here.
Like 7 or 8 or 9% above.
Oh, don't worry, Candace covered. We good. All right.
Right.
I got some.
Right. Like barrel aged. You know what I mean? Like, see, you deal with the sours. So the sour.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off. Oh. This beer converted me, man. This has converted me from sours. Like I normally in normal Casey times, this Jelly King would have been my number one. Was like, oh, it's a sour. It must be good. The stout was delicious though. Like I feel like my eyes have opened to like other palettes and flavors and combinations where I'm just like, you know, it's a 10%. It's an imperial stout, but it's just like I enjoyed every moment of this Black is Beautiful from People's Pint. I'll be sending them a message tomorrow to be like, thank you for your service, and I hope to have more.
All right, so but is it the Black and Beautiful part? Is that the part like was your mind like because it was a Black and Beautiful beer? Was your mind like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy this because it's because
no. I'm a full blown hater. I come from a long line of haters. If I hated it, I would hate it. I would be honest. This was delicious as hell. I will not lie. I really felt this was like, all the notes were there. It was on my tongue. Everything was hitting right. Thank you, JHG. You're right. Like this was just like, it was a delicious beer. It wasn't overbearing. Like so many, like, when you get like, if you drink a sour that doesn't have its act right, you just get overpowered by like all the flavors going on there. It doesn't really taste like anything different from any other sour, but this was complex and good. I enjoyed this.
The stout didn't have its act right. I love it.
I'm just saying.
So this is why it was key to get a person who doesn't know about beer to be our third co-host, because you get wonderful descriptions like that. No, it's true.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, the hoppy. Like I would say, the hops are assertive.
Yeah, I don't know a damn thing. I'm just kind of like, listen, does it taste good? It tastes good. It tastes good.
The tendency of, again, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I'd literally buy more of these without a problem. Like, without a doubt. I'm actually going to look up on the website probably tomorrow, see if I can get some more delivered, just because it was that good.
You guys got delivery up there, too?
We got delivery, man. Yo, basically, the way it's working in Toronto right now, like, so, America, I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you just in case you don't know this. Toronto is the 4th biggest city in North America. So we have nearly 3 million people in Toronto. It's a huge city. And basically right now with our beer and not our wine costs more and it's out of Toronto area. But for beer, there's like so many craft brews in Toronto that if you order $50 or more of beer at most places, they will deliver to your house for free, often same day. So if you want beer, like there's so many varieties. We probably have a good 100+ craft breweries in Toronto. So you can pick and choose and figure out what you want to do. It is the prime time to try what is out there. And I am trying, let me tell you.
Well, amen. And I will see you in a week with 3 other people.
It's going to be a fun show, man. If y'all are here tonight, if you guys are watching right now, come next week. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah. What's up with that? Well, what is it? Mushroom gravy,
boiled eggs, and on waffles. That was it.
No,
that's Kelly's thing.
No, no.
We will challenge the hell out of that one. We'll see. I don't know.
It's gonna be. And actually, before that, I'm going to be on their pop-up show, which is on
Wednesdays, right?
Foundation Facebook page, right? So that'll be like 5 o'clock. I'll be on there, and then we'll be on here at 8 o'clock.
Same day.
Same day. So it's gonna be fun. Double header. They're great people. It's a great foundation doing great work. So Casey, it's been fun. Thanks for doing this for us. Thanks for being a part of the crew. I am looking forward to 2021. I just don't think it's going to be apples and sunshine and dandelions in the pasture like a lot of you think it's going to be. Now, I don't think, but I think it's hope. And I just don't want to look, just like you guys don't want to get my hopes up about Joe winning by 15 points, which he's going to win by 15 points. Now, I don't want you to get all happy about 2021 when there's not a damn vaccine because we've been. Anyway, Casey, I'll see you next week.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.